So I know I'm a little late to the game, but I finally read ISOM number 1 and number 2, and I wanted to give my thoughts about these issues here in my Geek Corner. Hey there everybody, it's RevKev. Welcome back to the channel. So appreciate you being a part of the community here. All the proceeds I make on YouTube go to help kids in Guatemala through Compassion Canada. Check out information about that in the description below. So, like I said, I'm a little late to the game, but I finally got ISOM number 1, cover number C, and ISOM number 2. I think this was cover number B or D. I don't remember. Anyway, I have to look it up. And honestly, I was a little late to the game because what was kind of preventing me from jumping in was the price. I'm a Canadian. The US-Canadian exchange rate for the last several years has been garbage, and the shipping rates, it just was not something I could even contemplate. But hey, hats off to Rippaverse that they managed to get the shipping prices down, which was awesome, and they had a sale on number 1. So if you bought number 1 and number 2 together, it was a lot more affordable, and so I finally jumped in. So I want to give just a few thoughts about these issues. Now before I do that, one of the things I absolutely love about what is going on in the comic book industry, and just kind of in a lot of industries when it comes to creatives, is I love the fact that we live in a day and an age where independent authors and independent artists and creatives and musicians and artists like painters, sculptors, craftsmen, craftswomen, there's so much opportunity for them now because of the internet, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I could support every single one of them out there. I try to do it as much as I can with things like with what Rippaverse is doing, what Eric July is doing. I love the fact that he's like starting his own company with his own set of values, his own kind of code of ethics that he's built into it. Love that. I love that we have like sites like Etsy where you can get like artwork and different artists. I love how Amazon even does independent publishing that. Like my wife has done that as well, publishing her own book instead of through a big publishing house, done through Amazon Publishing. So it's just amazing, and I love it. So I love backing things like this. Now I can't back everything, but as a pastor, but I try to back as much as I can. And so let me just talk a few things about the issue itself. So while I love what the company's doing and what they're building, the first thing that I really, really love about these first 2 issues is I do love the world building. I'm a big fan of world building. I'm a big believer in the importance of canon. And not just biblical canon, but, like Star Wars canon and different things like that, like Dragonlance and Star Wars. Like, when I play role-playing games, like, canon means a lot to me. I like a story to be consistent. I like a story to flow. I don't like the cheap tricks to kind of paint yourself out of a corner, time travel, multiverse. Some wizard shows up and wipes everybody's memory and you just start over. Like, I'm just not a fan of that stuff. And everyone's doing it right now, right? And so I like what they're doing here with their world building and this idea that the stories, what you read in issue number 1, if they ever get up to issue 500, it's gonna still be a part of the story. So I really, really like that. Again, and I love the introduction of all the different characters and this world building that's happening. So love kind of how they're using internet and crowdfunding and all that stuff to really launch their company. Love that. Love the world building. But when it comes to the actual stories themselves, I don't know if it's just because it was so hyped, but for me, issue number 1 and issue number 2 are fine. They're okay. They're especially, let me just pick on issue number 1. Not pick on, but let me just talk about issue number 1. It didn't hook me. I mean, you're introduced to a lot of different characters. You got this, superhero, ISOM. He's not a superhero anymore. He's kind of walked away from it. He's got some family issues. He's got some business issues. He's got a friend that he grew up with who's now like a crime boss, and there's tension there. And again, it's fine. It's a good story, but there was nothing in here that was like, wow, I just cannot wait for issue number 2. Like, I have to buy it the moment it comes out. It, for me, was just missing the hook. And the other thing that I found challenging with this as well is I don't know, and maybe please excuse my Canadian ignorance, maybe that's what it is, but I don't know if the writing of it is trying to convey a Texan accent, but I find myself having to reread a lot of the bubbles. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, this is not making sense. And I'm a reader, like, so it's not that I can't read. I was like, is there slang? Is there terminology? Is there kind of written into it like the Texan accent that I'm having a hard time picking up? So I just felt myself having to go back a lot to this. So it was fine. And the artwork, like Cliff Richard's artwork, again, it's fine. Like, it's not great, it's not mind-blowing, it's not like, oh my goodness, this is just absolutely stunning and it's just so incredibly beautiful. In fact, I found a lot of the times in both issues, actually, when they would do a full page panel, for me, and this is just my opinion when it comes to art, and I know art is very subjective, but if you're going to do a full page panel, blow me away. Like, there should be something, either story-wise, that there's just something incredible going on with the story, or it should just be this beautiful, beautiful piece of art. Like, several pictures and like full page panels in here were a big empty night sky with a little tiny castle in the distance and a truck, or a car accident, and almost a half of the page is a cinder block that the car is hitting in a big building on the side. So it just felt like wasted space for me. Like, it just, again, it wasn't like this beautiful piece of art, like, oh my goodness, wow, it's stunning, I need to take a picture of this and put it on my phone as a wallpaper or anything like that, or it didn't have like this big major story thing. It just felt like a little bit like filler for me, and so that would take me a little bit out of the story. Now, again, what I really like is how they're building so much in here, but in a way, again, might have been just trying to read these in kind of in 1 week, sitting down. They are big, so maybe I should have just spread it out a little bit more. But there's a lot going on. There's gangs and family issues and all these other superheroes and these excepts, the exceptional people. There's interdimensional hell and different things like that. So a lot of things being crammed into 2 issues. So it felt just a little rushed story-wise for me, and made it just, again, feel fine. Again, love the fact that they're doing this world building, but there's still no hook. So even after issue 2, for me, there's still no hook for me that goes, wow, like the day issue 3 comes out, I'm getting it. I have to get it immediately. And so, again, it might have been the hype, maybe because I got into it a year later, and so maybe that's what happened. I'm not too sure, but that's just kind of where I'm falling with this. Now, I will pick up ISOM number 3, because that is like, it's a 3-part arc in this ill-advised storyline that they're doing, so I will pick that up to finish it up. But I really, really hope that there's going to be something to hook me into continuing, hook me into the character, hook me into the world. Right now, everything's fine. And the Canadian-US exchange rate will keep me out of it. Which it stinks that that's going to be the thing that's going to keep me out of it. But if it was exceptional and was blowing my mind and I just couldn't wait for the next one of the story I just found was incredible and the art I found incredible, I'd pay $50 US for it. No problem. But when it's, for me, the art is fine and the story is fine, $50 American, it's a tough pill to swallow. So those are just my thoughts. Just thought I'd put this out here. If you've read ISOM number 1 and ISOM number 2, would love to know what you thought about these issues down in the comment section below. And again, as always, I so appreciate you being a part of the community here in my Geek Corner. We just talk about nerdy things. It's really just to build community and to have fun together. That's the point. And again, all the proceeds from my members, from Super Chats, and from the YouTube ads, all goes to support kids in Guatemala. We do it through child sponsorship and through other special projects that you can read about in the description below. So until the next video, God bless you, everybody, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Take care.